What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to show you some pop hunting footage from last weekend. I went out mainly with the intent to find some more pops to add to my prize pool for the monthly giveaways that I do over on Patreon. And of course, those are public giveaways, but I handle them on Patreon. But anyway, the first store that I went to was Player's Choice in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I have shouted out this store many times now over the years, my time on YouTube, because it is one of my favorite stores, especially in my area. And I always tell people, if you're going to be in the area of Myrtle Beach, this is a store you definitely want to check out. Now, inside the store, one of the main things that stands out right away, of course, is that they actually have an arcade, which is something, unfortunately, you don't see a whole lot anymore because, of course, most people game at home or they're gaming on their phones, whatever it may be. But I'm still very nostalgic about arcades. So even just the sounds of the arcade while I'm in there and I'm looking around and everything and I'm shopping, it's a really cool experience. And I definitely do appreciate that. They actually have a smaller arcade next door as well, which is pretty cool. And they have one of my favorite arcade games of all time, Alien vs. Predator. I really love that game. I'm looking into getting the figures added into my collection because I don't just collect Funko Pops. I mean, anything that's pretty much cool and affordable, I'm gonna go for it. So yeah, I really want to get some Alien vs. Predator, some more Alien vs. Predator action figures, and then maybe own that game one day as well. Maybe not the whole cabinet, but own it in some way. They also got the Simpsons arcade game, another one of my favorites. They have, I didn't get footage of it this time, but I showed it previously. They got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game 1 and 2, Turtles in Time, the second one. And they also had a Nintendo cabinet here for Castlevania. I'd never seen this before, but it looks really cool. I love the marquee, the border around it and everything. Of course, it has a simple setup for the Nintendo controls, but it's pretty awesome. And it says versus Castlevania, so I'm not sure if players take turns or how that works, but very cool looking cabinet regardless. And then we're getting into the figures here. I know that DC Collectibles action figures are not nearly as popular as Marvel Legends, but I think they look really awesome, and I may pick up some more eventually. I do have a few in my collection, but they have some really unique designs as well, like this Aquaman one here. Never seen that outfit before for him, so yeah, I do like the look of those. And then, of course, they have plenty of Funko Pops here, and you'll see that I'm not going to point out, like all the different figures, but they have plenty of Funko Pops here in this store. And while I'm showing you all this footage, I want to talk about something that it came to my attention a while ago, a comment that I had on a video. I think it was when I went to a comic book shop in Charleston, and I did a video just showing some footage from that store. And I remember one comment that I had, and I really hope that this doesn't exemplify how other people feel, because the comment was very negative, and the person was saying that oh, I'm showing off a local store probably because they grease my palms or whatever. They must have paid. He was basically insinuating that they must have paid me to do a video about them. I really don't like that attitude, because I feel like you should support your local businesses, and I don't get paid to support my local businesses. It's something I like to do, because I really do appreciate them. And I think it's a shame that, more than likely that individual probably watch, some of my other content, doesn't have any issues with me supporting million-dollar companies, that make well over hundreds of millions of dollars. That's fine. But then I support a local business, and that's looked on in a negative way. I really don't understand that thinking. And I say this all the time, people, please make sure that you support your local businesses, especially comic book shops. Go check them out, see what they have. Sometimes they have figures that you might think that are out of your reach, but they're sitting right there, especially because a lot of these shops will actually buy people's collections. They'll buy pops from people. So sometimes they will have vaulted figures and chase figures, and you just never know what you might come across. And Player's Choice here is a good example of that. As a matter of fact, you'll see here in a moment some pops that they recently got from somebody that sold their collection. So yeah, and in fact, this is it right here. So this line of pops here, and you'll actually see there are 2 gaps in this this setup of pops here, because I actually picked them up. I added them to my prize pool. So yeah, like I said, that's a good reason to go to these local shops and see what they have, because you just never know what you may come across. You can kind of see in the background here as well, I didn't really put a lot of focus on it, that at Player's Choice they actually they buy old video games, like classic video games and everything, and they have the systems, the games, the cartridges, all that going on. So it's just a really cool experience again to go there, even though I'm not really so big into classic gaming necessarily, but it's still just cool to see all these things that bring back so many great memories. Here again is another section. I think these are pops that they bought from individuals, and that's why it is such a vast selection there. And I think they are choosy about what they buy as well, because most of what I see there is pretty good condition. And then the case that you're seeing right here, it does have some vaulted figures in there, some tougher to find figures. Some of these are a little bit easier to find, but then there are some that are more getting towards that high dollar range, or ones that have recently increased in value, like the Mabel Corn Mabel there. That's one that shot up in value not that long ago. You see there the gentleman from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So yeah, they have a really good selection going on here. And I feel like sometimes people may kind of overlook videos like this because they're like, oh, well, it's not in my area. But, you know, some of these stores, I know Player's Choice is one of them. Some of them, if you reach out to them, you see something you like, you reach out to them, they'll work it out to get it to you, you know. So I like that aspect of it. These cases here, again, some very cool statues and different types of collectibles, some DC collectibles items. And again, I don't just focus on Funko. If something looks cool, I can afford it, then I go for it. So I really do like this selection here. Again, I actually see some things in these cases that might end up in my collection eventually, but it's all things in due time. You know, can't get it all at once. And then moving on here, they have, of course, like I said, a wide variety, you know, a good variety of figures and statues. And you see here these gallery statues, which gallery statues in general are just very affordable. They're kind of lightweight, you know, they're not like the most sturdy thing in the world. But if you just want to appreciate the look of certain characters, then I think the gallery statues are cool. They actually have one here, I think, that I plan on adding to my collection. We'll see if it comes up in the footage here, but I'm pretty sure they have it in there. This Bruce Lee one I'd never seen before. That was pretty awesome to see for the first time there, and I like the water theme with him there as well. They have a couple of Daredevil ones here that you'll see in a moment that I don't think I'd seen previously, and I like that they have the different color variants for them as well. And you see there's some based on the Netflix Marvel series, which, you know, RIP on those, but and I will miss those series. I may go back and check them out sometimes if I can. But yeah, you see here these Daredevil statues, very cool, the two classic color variants there. And then they have a mix of some older Funko products here, and really just, you know, from different companies. Like that, you know, the Mighty Mugs, and they're like the old school of Mighty Mugs, the original Mighty Mugs in the mix there. These Toonie Terrors figures, which I really like. At this point, I did order Jason Voorhees before I saw it there. You know, I already had him on order, but I still might get that the old school Pennywise there as well. And you see some Spawn figures here, which I actually got a Spawn figure one time from this store. It's a very unique Spawn figure that's in my collection. He's kind of based off of Mayan culture. Never seen anything like it. It was so beautiful, I went ahead and picked that up. You see they got reaction figures, rock candy figures. It's just really a lot of things going on in the mix here. And every time I go, I definitely see something different there as well. And then this wall here, again, just some random figures, a random mix there. Action figures, I've said this previously on my channel, I don't really pick up a lot of action figures because I'm not into unboxing them and posing them and all of that, but I definitely do like the look of them. And then here we have some more statues, again focusing on DC collectibles, which I'm a big fan of. Here it goes. I thought I had footage of it. Red Death, that is one that is going to be in my collection very soon. I really want to get that Red Death statue by Gallery there. They got Batwoman there, which of course her Funko Pop was just revealed, which looks amazing. And I will say this before we move on here. I know a lot of people at the time of this recording are hyped about NYCC Funko exclusives, and trust me, I will address that in Funko News, of course. And then moving on here, within the same mall where Player's Choice is located, they do have a Books A Million as well. I know Books A Million store is closed up in some areas, including one that was closer to me, so I really do appreciate going and checking out this Books A Million because they have a surprising variety of collectibles as well. And you'll see here, this is like a stand in the middle of the aisle there. They have some Stranger Things figures set up and everything. Those I think are by Todd McFarlane, the actual action figures. They look pretty good. And of course they got the pops there as well. And moving along here, they got a good mix movie figures. I really like the look of some Ghostbuster figures. Haven't picked up the movie moment yet. That's something I still want to get eventually. Got to find space for it though, of course. And then moving on here, of course, they have some Pop Rocks figures and everything in the mix there. Pop Rocks, I mainly focused on Notorious B.I.G. I don't have a lot going on with Pop Rocks, to be honest there. I did pick up Rick James recently. I got him from GameStop though. And then horror. I love to check out the horror figures, and they really did have a good mix here. Walking Dead, I don't really collect anymore. I kind of gave up on the series, but I still held on to my Walking Dead pops. I still had those in my collection. Game of Thrones, I noticed they have a lot of Game of Thrones stuff there. I think Game of Thrones might be a little overproduced in some ways. I see so much of it in stores, and then with the way it ended, I know some fans were not happy, so I think that kind of affected the sales of some figures as well. Check out the Pennywise figure there. The head came loose in there. I didn't know what was going on there at first, but yeah, like I said, a good mix. And they actually have it mixed, these figures mixed in right along with the books as well, which it just looks nice. I really like the setup that they have in this BAM location. And I wish when I used to go to this BAM originally, they actually had some pops that I probably should have got and I passed up on, and they've shot up in value, of course. For example, they had Maggie from The Walking Dead, and that was before she really became more of a central character on the series, and of course her value just shot up after that, after she started to get more attention. But yeah, I could have picked up Maggie from there, didn't do it, but oh well. And you see, like I said, a good mix. Halloween, Friday the 13th, It, Predator, all these different things mixed in there. Very cool to see. Pan's Labyrinth as well, which is a movie I feel like I really need to watch. Again, I actually have that Freddy Krueger figure. Somebody did send that to me. But yeah, like I was saying, Pan's Labyrinth, I really want to watch that movie again because I remember the fantastical elements of it. I feel like I don't really recall the real story of it, the meat of the plot so much. So I kind of want to go back and check that out again. I know it has a tragic, sad ending to it, but regardless, I really want to check it out for the story again, because I am pretty much a fan of Guillermo del Toro. And then main character as well has a figure there. Those figures, I'm assuming they're by Neca. I think they are, the way the packaging is, that most of the figures you're seeing right here are by Neca. Neca has some very cool detailing with their figures for sure. And then we got the pops here, of course, a mix of movie, some TV stuff there in the mix as well. BAM does have some exclusives, but not always the most highly sought after exclusives. They get those 2-packs sometimes where it's basically just 2 commons put together. And of course, Pennywise sitting there. I have not seen It Chapter 2 yet. I'm gonna have to wait till the Hurricane Dorian passes on his way, and then I will try to get to the theater to check that out. You see there that they had that talking Pennywise plush there as well. And then this was basically the majority of their video game figures, I think. And then some anime was in the mix as well. They didn't have a whole lot going on with video games. You can tell that's kind of just there at the bottom. And then, like I said, some anime in the mix here. But there were some anime ones spread out at another location. You'll see that in just a moment. But yeah, we got some Disney here, focusing mainly on the Lion King. Those Dumbo pops, I'm not sure if I've seen anybody actually pick any of the Dumbo pops up, unless they got them like in a mystery box or something like that. Shazam pops over there. Some Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman action figures all going on there. I think those were actually packaged together with a graphic novel, if I'm not mistaken. Some black and white Batman figures here, which these are smaller versions of statues and figures that they have. So that's a way to get a bunch of them if you can't afford like the larger ones, Some Five Nights at Freddy's, even though the stand looked like it's seen better days. Some of those look like they're about to fall off there. And then I decided to leave this in the footage. You see me kind of pause there for a moment. That's because they had some mugs hanging on the wall, and I almost like knocked some of them off. I had to stop myself and catch those. That's just the danger of filming in a store sometimes, especially in those cramped aisles in certain spaces. So yeah, I just went ahead and left that in because it's something to be aware of. When you go out and you're filming in stores like this, you do have to be careful. And these shelves over here are really odd mix of things. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but just all sorts of things going on. Coraline figures there. I think they have here, Pacific Rim, which I'm not the biggest Pacific Rim fan. I didn't even bother to watch the sequel. If anybody saw the sequel, let me know what you think about it. I know the critics weren't especially kind to it. You see some Aliens figures here as well. And then I was talking about these a while ago. Alien vs. Predator, the arcade game action figures. I keep just running into the Xenomorphs. I really haven't seen the Predators in store or the human characters. I've not seen them at all. I mainly want to get the human characters based on Alien vs. Predator, the arcade game. Just haven't come across them yet. Even online, I think those are kind of tricky to track down. And then of course more pops here. There's some Star Wars over there, some Marvel in the mix there. You see that Green Goblin from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I actually wouldn't mind having the 10-inch version of him. I'm not sure if I've ever seen him in the store, and if I have seen him, I definitely haven't seen him marked down in price yet. And I'm gonna spin around here and we'll see some more figures on the end cap here. I like these statues down there. These are I think those are actually BAM, yeah, they are BAM exclusive. It says it on the box there of those DC, I was about to say bombshells, but just the DC characters there. I like those Amanda Conner Harley Quinn action figures. Really like Amanda Conner's take on Harley Quinn, her different takes on Harley Quinn. Some Q figs, and then another BAM exclusive there, Harley Quinn bombshell. This one being the red, white, and blue, of course, patriotic colors. And yet another crazy mix of figures there, including that troll doll, which kind of caught me by surprise there. But then you see some Marvel Legends. I didn't do it on camera so much, but I did kind of look through the Marvel Legends and see if they had anything that I was interested in. I'm mainly trying to find Thing as far as Marvel Legends are concerned. I haven't seen the Thing yet, hoping that I can add him to my collection. I'm real picky with Marvel Legends though. I don't grab just anything. And then you see here this Godzilla, this like classic Godzilla figure as well, which is pretty awesome looking. Love the packaging too, the colors on it, those retro colors. And then we're almost at the end of the footage here, focusing on BAM. This section here, again, some Disney, Nightmare Before Christmas. They had a couple of, you see the 10-inch glow-in-the-dark Ursulas there, and they actually are in good shape. I know with some of them, the tridents broke on them, but everyone I saw there looked like it was in good condition. Then they had like Office Space, Super Troopers, which some of these figures, you know, when it's just characters that are, you know, just regular human characters, some of them can look kind of plain Jane, you know, altogether, especially. So some of them, I wasn't even sure what I was looking at right away till I got up close, because like I said, some of them look a little plain. Not sure what happened with that stand. It must have got cleared out. I know it was full before. And then they did have some pops marked down, but really nothing that caught my attention so much. You know, just some that, again, I guess were sort of overproduced or not the most popular, whatever it may be. There you see that Jan Brady and George Glass 2-pack, which I hadn't seen that around previously. BAM exclusive Catwoman there, which I think is just like the like sort of sepia tone colors, I want to say. It looks pretty good up close though. Yu Yu Hakusho, they had those figures there. Somebody commented about those recently. I'm not sure if that viewer realized that those pops were actually already out there, but then again, maybe they were saying that they want to see more from Yu Yu Hakusho. But you know, people got to buy what's already available. They got to sell well before Funko will produce more, of course. And with some of these figures, I did look through, you know, trying to see if there were any chases, especially there of Peggy Bundy, but nope, no chases in the mix. So yeah, that was the footage from Player's Choice and also Books A Million. And I do want to point out, again, supporting another local business that I'm a big fan of, Power Comics. This is a shop that I go to in Conway, South Carolina, and they do host a convention, Power Comic Con, which is going to be September 21st in Florence, South Carolina. So if you happen to be in the area around that time, do make sure that you try to check out this event. I probably will talk about the event again before it happens, and then I do plan on attending and getting some footage from there. So you will see about this again on the channel in the near future. But again, Power Comics, very cool shop, worth checking out. It's in Conway, South Carolina. They do have a eBay shop as well. Very cool with people that work there. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you all again